In the vast theatre of the human soul, every relationship acts as a mirror, revealing not only who we are, but what we fear to see. Some connections transform us without explanation. Brief encounters that touch us deeply and then dissolve into silence, leaving us with questions that echo in the heart. What happened? Why does someone who once felt so close now seem so distant? Carl Jung, with his profound understanding of the psyche, taught that human behavior is rarely ruled by logic or conscious desire alone. Beneath every action lies an ancient force, a current of emotion and memory that shapes our choices without our awareness. When someone remembers you but doesn't reach out, when they dream of you yet stay silent, it's not always indifference. It's often an unseen struggle within them, an inner battle greater than you can imagine. The unconscious holds more than forgotten memories. It stores pain, fears, and unhealed wounds that quietly sabotage love. Sometimes distance is not rejection but self-protection. Before we go further, pause for a moment and write one word in the comments: rebirth. Do it not as a routine act, but as a declaration. I am ready to release what doesn't choose me. I'm ready to return to myself. Because rebirth is not starting from zero, it's starting from truth. It's seeing yourself with gentler eyes, with more compassion and love. If something inside you feels it's time to let go, to heal, to rebuild, then let this word become your symbol. When you write it, you declare it. When you declare it, you begin to live it. Imagine for a moment that you were the echo of a love that touched someone's most fragile places. It's not about what you did or failed to do, it's about what you represented. Sometimes to love someone means to awaken the parts of them they've kept hidden for years. Perhaps your presence made their masks tremble, their defenses soften, and not everyone is ready to be that exposed. Jung called this the shadow, the repressed parts of ourselves that we deny, yet continue to influence every choice. Often people project this shadow onto others without realizing it. Maybe you became the reflection of tenderness they were taught to reject, or a symbol of vulnerability that once brought them pain. When love once hurt, closeness can feel dangerous. In such cases, distance isn't a lack of affection, it's emotional survival. The body steps back, but the soul lingers. The mind says, don't go, even as the heart races at the thought of you. Jung reminded us that it's never coincidence when someone leaves, just as they begin to feel deeply. That's when their inner wounds awaken and the past quietly takes control. Many people don't withdraw because they've stopped caring. They withdraw because they don't believe they deserve the love they feel. When you face that silence, don't mistake it as a verdict on your worth. Someone's distance doesn't erase the connection you shared or your ability to love. Your presence may have stirred deep waters, bringing forgotten emotions to the surface. Not everyone is ready to face their darkness. Remember, you are still here, present within yourself. The journey isn't about chasing those who run. It's about understanding that every soul is fighting its own hidden war. Keep your light shining, not to call them back, but to illuminate your own path. Because the truest love doesn't cling, it understands. It honors the other's wounds without losing its own center. When someone misses you but doesn't reach out, see it as a mirror inviting you inward. Jung said that in the space between love and fear lies the beginning of true inner work. The real question isn't why they left, but why we long so deeply for their return. What emptiness do we ask them to fill? What part of us still believes our worth depends on their choice? This is where the journey of individuation begins, the sacred path of becoming whole. Suffering ends when we realize that love is not about being chosen, but about choosing ourselves. Wholeness begins when we stop chasing what isn't meant for us and recognize that we were never incomplete to begin with. That is the quiet, beautiful power of transformation. That is the breaking point between the old self, hungry for approval, and the new you, capable of standing with quiet dignity in your own truth. Accepting that someone is not ready to love you as deeply as you love them is not defeat, it is liberation. In that acceptance, expectation dissolves and wisdom quietly takes root. True love cannot be forced or persuaded. It blooms only when two souls meet with awareness, without needing to rescue or complete each other. Jung said that real connection only happens when both people have already walked a part of their inner journey. If one has not yet faced their own shadow, they will inevitably project their pain onto the other. Perhaps you felt it, that strange ache of becoming a mirror for someone who is not ready to see themselves. Your presence awakens emotions they've long suppressed, stirring forgotten memories, or a tenderness they were taught to hide. So even when they miss you, fear holds them back. The conflict isn't with you, it's with what you represent in their unconscious. Instead of trying to decode their mixed signals, pause and listen to your own inner voice. What part of you still needs someone else to change so you can feel safe? What wound from long ago aches when someone disappears without explanation? That emptiness you feel can become a profound teacher. Sometimes we don't need more love from others. We need to love ourselves more deeply. Silence then stops being punishment and becomes space for awakening. Jung said that enlightenment doesn't come from imagining light, but from making the darkness conscious. And often, that darkness appears as rejection, distance, or loss. If you stop resisting and start observing, you'll begin to see what your pain is trying to show you. Maybe the ache isn't about this person at all. Maybe it's an old echo, the child within you still longing to be seen, chosen, and valued. But now, life offers you a sacred chance, not to beg for love, but to return to yourself. Not to convince anyone to stay, but to convince yourself that you are already enough, even alone. Because once you fully choose yourself, you begin to attract love that mirrors wholeness, not emptiness. The universe responds not to desperation, but to authenticity. It doesn't always give us what we want, but it always gives us what we need to grow. So when someone misses you but doesn't reach out, don't see it as rejection. See it as redirection, a sign that they are walking their own inner path, one that may not align with yours right now. And you, instead of waiting, can evolve. Instead of searching for love, you can become love itself. The pain of absence begins to soften, transforming into sacred space, a space you fill with presence, awareness, and truth. Deep in every soul lie scars that time alone cannot heal. Old wounds shape how we love, how we leave, how we fear closeness. Sometimes people pull away, not because love is gone, but because true intimacy demands surrender, and surrender terrifies the ego. So they hide behind silence, excuses, or independence. Yet what they truly fear isn't losing you, it's losing control. That fear often began long before you. Jung believed love is not merely an emotion, but a spiritual process, a path toward integration. Real love reflects both beauty and brokenness. But not everyone is ready for that reflection. Some step back, overwhelmed by what they see. That's when the most courageous act of love is letting go with compassion, not resentment. You can't heal someone who refuses to face their wounds. Every soul must choose its own moment of awakening. Yes, it hurts, but it hurts far more to abandon yourself chasing someone lost in their shadows. So if someone misses you but stays silent, let it be. Don't see it as a failure, but as an invitation to return home to yourself, to embrace your wholeness, and to walk forward with love, light, and dignity. What part of you is still waiting to be chosen in order to feel whole? What emptiness are you still trying to fill with someone else's attention, affection, or presence? It's within this quiet introspection that transformation begins. When you finally understand that their absence isn't a punishment or a rejection, but a reflection of their own inner journey, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of abandonment and begin to see yourself as the author of your own becoming. Jung once said that destiny isn't an external force, it's the sum of our conscious and unconscious choices. If you keep seeking love where you're not a priority, it's not fate, it's a pattern asking to be healed. A pattern born from old wounds, shaped by the belief that love must be earned. But as long as you keep chasing someone emotionally unavailable, You abandon the most sacred relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. Accepting that someone misses you but doesn't reach for you can feel like heartbreak, especially when your worth is tied to their response. We've been taught to measure love through visible gestures, calls, messages, presence. Yet sometimes the deepest act of love from another is staying away, because their unconscious presence could wound you more than their conscious absence. And so a moment arrives when you must choose to keep waiting for signs or to turn inward and rediscover your own strength. True love is not born from need. It rises from freedom. It doesn't bind, it reflects. And when that mirror shows you parts of yourself still seeking validation, it's not punishment, it's an invitation to heal. A relationship shouldn't feel like emotional negotiation. You should never have to convince someone to stay, nor explain away their absence as something noble. When someone pulls away, the real question isn't, what did I do wrong? But, what is this teaching me about myself? Am I seeking love from lack or from wholeness? Because transformation begins the moment you stop waiting for someone else to complete you and start walking back toward yourself. The human heart is a labyrinth shaped by fear, memory, and longing. Not everything we feel makes sense, and not everything the other person feels can be translated into action. Jung understood that the psyche operates beneath awareness, that people often withdraw not from indifference, but from inner chaos. Some feel deeply, yet flee more intensely. Not because they don't care, but because what they feel with you awakens parts of themselves they're not ready to face. Many were raised in environments where love was uncertain, where affection meant risk, where vulnerability led to pain. Even when they crave closeness, their mind still equates intimacy with danger. Silence becomes protection. Distance becomes control. Love for the unhealed triggers alarm, not safety. And no matter how much you love them, you cannot turn off that alarm. Only they can when they decide to face their shadows with honesty. So if someone misses you but doesn't reach out, don't take it as rejection, see it as a mirror showing your own growth. You are not here to wait for anyone. You are here to evolve, to heal, to learn self-love so complete that it changes what you attract. Jung taught that love, when true, reflects both light and darkness. Emotional avoidance is not coldness, it's fear disguised as logic. Many run from what they most desire, not because they don't value it, but because they don't know how to hold it without losing themselves. For the wounded heart, love feels like danger wrapped in tenderness, so they keep their distance not from you, but from their own unhealed past. Sometimes silence isn't forgetting, it's fear of repetition. Yet the question is not what's wrong with them, but what part of you still needs their presence to feel worthy. If their absence breaks you, what it's really showing is your own hidden fear, the fear of not being enough unless someone else confirms it. And that's where your awakening begins. Individuation, Jung said, is the process of integrating every part of yourself, even the ones that crave love from emptiness. Real love doesn't come to rescue you. It finds you once you've rescued yourself. It meets you when you've learned to stand alone without pleading for affection. So if someone misses you but stays away, don't chase. Let that silence guide you home. Ask yourself, am I loving from freedom or from need? Because the moment you stop needing someone else to validate you, your energy shifts. You stop waiting for messages that never come. You stop seeing silence as rejection and start seeing it as space to grow, to align, to return to truth. You are not here to awaken others or carry their healing. Your only task is to choose yourself completely. Real love doesn't create anxiety or confusion. It brings peace, clarity, and mutual presence. And the first yes that matters is the one you whisper to yourself. There comes a sacred moment when letting go becomes an act of wisdom, not because you no longer care, but because you finally understand that holding on to what doesn't flow is self-abandonment. Letting go doesn't erase love, it transforms it. It teaches you that not everything you feel is meant to stay, and that what is truly yours will never require chasing. Jung reminded us that when we heal our own wounds, we stop attracting people who mirror them. If your relationships repeat cycles of waiting or uncertainty, it's not because you're unworthy, it's because a part of you is still trying to prove your value through another's love. But once you bring that wound into light, the pattern breaks. Without even seeking, you begin to attract relationships rooted in truth, balance, and reciprocity connections where you are seen without asking and chosen without waiting. So if someone thinks of you but doesn't return, let that absence become your teacher. Perhaps it came not to hurt you, but to show your strength, to reveal how much you've grown and how much more peace awaits when you choose yourself. Because love is not pleading for attention. It's being so full within that everything you attract reflects that wholeness. The moment you stop asking, why don't they come? And instead ask, what do I need to feel whole? Everything changes. You realize that the deepest, most lasting love comes not from them, but from you. From your courage to stand alone, your commitment to your healing, and your quiet knowing that you were always enough. In that silence, you finally find peace, presence, and freedom, the kind of love that begins and ends with you.